Hey everybody, we're back again. This is Sports Beat, our weekly look at sports with Glen Kellaway from the basement, Aramutha Alamere. We're just going to talk a little baseball and football today and see what happened in the last week. When last we left you, the baseball playoffs or baseball regular season was just wrapping up. Now we're into the playoffs. We had a killer game the other night with the Cardinals and Dodgers. One game elimination, winner goes on, loser goes home. And that was quite exciting. You guys watched it, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, that's what baseball's all about. That's
Yeah,
why
I
it's a
love
great
those
game.
tight games.
Yeah.
Real drama. Every pitch meant something. You were hanging, and
Yeah.
then it just ended like that. Jubilation on one
Yeah.
side and devastation on the other. It was unbelievable. So that
Imagine
I
how the
love
players
baseball.
feel, eh? Like just
Yeah,
162 games and you get to that one game that just, man, and you just one pitch and you're on your way home.
I know.
That's it.
It's
Yeah,
great.
crazy. But it was a great game. It was a great way to start the playoffs.
It was.
Yeah.
What'd
So
you
now we're
think,
into
Aaron?
the
Great game?
Yeah, I loved it. I'm always been a National League fan, so I like the pitching duels a little more usually than just when they're scoring too much. It gets kind of boring to me. I mean, it's
Yeah.
nice, it's fun sometimes, but I like good pitching duels where it's every pitch means something. That's what that reminded me of a little bit. I like that a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, it was
All right,
great.
cool.
The games last night weren't that exciting. I mean, both were they were over right pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you knew they weren't going to change. You could see the momentum was
Yeah.
not going to happen. So it was just as a recap, we actually got 4 baseball games today. It's a loaded baseball game if you're a fan. I mean, all
Yeah,
day
2 o'clock our time, Eastern time, 2 o'clock
Yeah.
is first game. Yeah.
So just we're going to pick our predictions as far as who's going to come out of each league and World Series. Who wants to go first on that?
I can go first if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so let's just for everybody's benefit, Boston Red Sox are playing Tampa Bay Rays, Los Angeles Dodgers versus San Francisco Giants, Chicago White Sox versus Houston Astros, and Milwaukee versus Atlanta Braves.
Right.
So I have Tampa Bay and the Astros knocking the White Sox and the Red Sox out quite easily, I think.
Yeah.
So they're going to play together. I think that's going to be a pretty good series, but Tampa Bay to me just has a solid, they don't have a weakness in their lineup. I mean, they're just built defensively, good pitching, just strategic hitting. They just seem to have really put a solid team together. And as good as the Astros are, I think Tampa Bay is going to end up in the World Series.
Okay.
On the National League side, Milwaukee and Atlanta, I think Atlanta will take that. I'm just kissing Aaron's ass a little bit, but I sincerely do think Atlanta will take it. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's a 7-game series.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And
Well,
Dodgers
it's
Giants.
3 out of 5.
Oh, 5. Yeah, 3 out of 5. 5. Yeah, it'll go 5. It'll go the distance.
Yeah.
Dodgers Giants. This is a coin flip. I mean, they have been battling for first place all year. The Giants held on to first place, I think, pretty much from day one, right to game 162.
Right.
And I am a Giants fan in the National League. So I'm going with my heart because they're both, I think either one could win this. And so I'm going Giants. And I'm going to pick Giants and Tampa Bay, I think, are going to end up playing for the World Series this year.
And who do you have as a pick? Or are you going to wait on that? See.
Well, I'm going to go Tampa Bay, although I hope it's the Giants.
Tampa Bay all the way.
This year. Yeah.
All right, cool. What do you think, Aaron?
Well, in the American League, I think pretty much what you said. I'm going with Tampa Bay in the American League. I think I think the Red Sox might pose a couple problems, but I'm going with Tampa. In the National League, it's really hard because I love the Braves, but I think they might squeak by the Brewers. That's a tough series. And I think the Dodgers are going to get the Giants. I hate the Dodgers. I'm not
Me too. Boo, piss, boo.
And, you know, if the Braves had Acuna, I think they might get the World Series. I think that they're just lacking a little. Even though it's hard for me to go against my team, I think it's going to be the Dodgers and the Tampa Bay Rays, and I think the Dodgers are going to get them in the end.
Yeah. Repeat again.
Tampa I have very similar feeling there. In the American League, I like Tampa Bay to sweep the Red Sox. I'm gonna take Houston over the White Sox in a 4-game series. And then Tampa Bay eventually will beat the Astros to get to the World Series. National League, I like the Dodgers. I think they're a powerhouse. I think they're gonna take out the Giants in 4. And I like the Braves in 5 over Milwaukee. In the National League Championship Series, I am going to take the Dodgers over the Braves in 6. And then the Dodgers and Tampa squaring off in the World Series. I'm going to go with the Dodgers in 7. I think it's going to be a lot like last year. 2 best teams going at it. I can't see anybody beating the Dodgers as long as they have Scherzer and Buehler on the mound. That lineup is stacked and they're clutch. Those guys hit with the money on the line. So I kind of like the Dodgers.
Okay, Dodgers Tampa and Giants Tampa.
Yeah, Tampa by all 3 of us, right? All 3 of us
Yeah.
picked Tampa. So,
Mm-hmm.
very good. As far as
Now, because I Braves all the way, they'll do it this year. Just because I didn't.
yeah,
Well,
I really like the Braves lineup. I think they're a little short in the pitching, but I if they had Acuna, oh my god,
yeah,
they are stacked. Their 1 through 8 hitters are solid all the way through. I like the Braves lineup,
mm-hmm.
and I've seen a lot of them. They played the Phillies 19 times, and they're a terror. Anyway,
Wow.
going to the NFL last week, I noticed when we had our show, we had 5 undefeated teams. Now they're down to 1, and that would be the Arizona Cardinals. They're the
Arizona
only team
Cardinals.
left without a
That
loss.
Kylie, what's his name? Kylie Murray. What's his
Kyler
first name?
Murray.
Kyler. Yeah. Oh, where'd this guy come from?
I know, but he could be the real deal, you know.
Man, who would have ever picked? Imagine having a bet like your mortgage of your house on which team was going to be undefeated in the NFL. It would have been the Arizona Cardinals.
Yep. They look strong
Insane.
though. They
They
look like
do.
they're gonna be real.
Exciting too. Like it's almost can't miss TV now.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's one observation. Of course, we had the infamous Tampa Bay versus New England last Sunday night with Brady and Belichick. It was a pretty competitive game. I was surprised New England held in there, but they did.
Yeah. Everybody's kind of saying Belichick, even though Tampa Bay won the game, everybody's thinking Belichick actually got the better of Brady. You think that's the case?
Not really.
I don't think
No?
so. I think whoever wins the game got the better of the other team.
Yeah, that's what I
But-
think too. But there's a lot of
But I give Belichick
People-
a lot of credit for getting his team ready to play because Super Bowl champion and that whole
Yeah.
Brady thing. And they did sort of have a little mini hug after the game, which I was curious about whether they would acknowledge each other.
yeah. Well, can you imagine being a player in the Patriots dressing room and not putting an effort in that game?
Oh yeah, you'd be cut the next day.
Yeah. Gone. Yeah, there was some
about our-
interesting games on the weekend. Buffalo's just rolling too, man. They are just smoking it offensively. Holy crap.
They have Kansas City this week. That's a good match.
Yeah. That's going to be really interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. And did you guys watch the game last night?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good game.
Bits and pieces. I was watching baseball and that I saw Russell Wilson got hurt, left the
Yeah,
game.
that's too bad. Yeah, that's going to be an impact. That quarterback, the backup looked pretty good until the end there when they threw that interception. But did you see that play when Smith threw the interception with 2 minutes to go?
I did not. I was watching something else. How about you, Aaron? You see that?
Yeah, I'm kind of watching 2 things at once, but I saw it.
Should that have been a penalty on that defensive penalty when that guy knocked the receiver over when he was running his route?
I don't know. I'm really weird about refs this year. I just think they're really inconsistent this year. So I
Big time.
just a coin flip any play if they're going to call one.
Yeah.
It's frustrating
It's
watching because you
weird.
never know when the flag's coming out. You just never
Yeah.
know.
No.
It's very inconsistent. I don't mind if they call them one way or the other as long as they're consistent with it. It just
Yeah.
seems like a place.
Yeah, especially pass interference.
Yeah.
Brutal.
I
Yeah.
know I hate to bring up the Eagles, but they had 3 touchdowns called back last week on penalties. They scored 3 times on Kansas City, and all 3 were brought back. So
That was the
Wow.
Chargers against the Chiefs too, and it's just crazy.
Yeah.
it's like,
They're all getting these calls now. I've noticed.
yeah. The
And
referees want to be
let's give Aaron a chance to gloat. Monday Night Football, Chargers Raiders,
yeah, what do you think? They were impressive for sure.
28-14 for the Chargers.
Well, I was a little disappointed.
Oh, I'm glad.
I was very happy. That was the best half of defense I've ever seen the Chargers play in years.
First half, yeah.
Yeah. And it was Herbert played really good, but he didn't have any of those wild plays like he usually does. But that's what I like about him. He doesn't have to do that to be good. And it's just and I was getting kind of concerned when the Raiders are coming back, I'll have to say. And I just think the coach this year is so different that it's not going to affect him like it has in the past. He just has a different mentality to how they do things. And but the Raiders put up a good fight at the end. I was
Yeah.
There
Yeah,
was
I
getting a
didn't
little,
think that first half was like, if you were a Raiders fan, it was, my God, they didn't make 1 yard. I don't think there was 1 yard of offense, was there? In the
they
first
had a
half?
penalty, they had a penalty for first down.
Wasn't much.
Yeah, it was pretty meager.
But you know what
Yeah.
the play of the game was? I absolutely loved it. When the Chargers did the fake punt, and that guy, the Raiders guy, the last
Renfro.
guy back, Renfro,
That was
he
incredible.
caught it right away. He's going,
Yeah.
"Oh, these guys!" And he went up and he nailed that bastard when he got the ball.
That was a
an
great
awesome
play. He recognized it right away and came from like how many yards? 40 yards back or whatever.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
It would work if you do that too. That was wide open if you didn't go there.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
big time.
They had. That's what I like about the Chargers. They have a defensive coach, but they are aggressive on offense, but not stupid aggressive. They'll just do it when they think they can. So I was really happy.
Yeah. Well, they're both 3-1 now, right? Chargers and Raiders.
Yep, the Chargers
Yeah.
have two divisions first.
Cool.
Chargers have who this week?
The Browns.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
That's a
it's
tough
going to be a
game.
close one. That's going to be a tough one.
Browns have a good defense.
Yeah. There's some good games this week. So
You want to do our predictions or you want to pick our 10 greatest wideouts and tight ends? What do you want to do first?
let's do the 10 first and save the predictions till the end.
Gotcha. All right.
I had to bring a math expert in to do, like, I don't know, you guys know, like I got 13% in math in grade 10. Like I can 2 and 2 is 4. I got that. That's it. And man, yeah, if I showed you all the chicken scratches, trying to figure out how Aaron won that one. So nuts. So let's save that.
I think Aaron won both of his. Yeah, we'll save that. Let's go into
Oh
our,
yeah, I got my ass kicked. That's all I know.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that, but
I owe you guys my my record collection or something. Okay.
I'll take all the Dylan.
Okay.
All right, let's see.
That wouldn't pay it off. Grab something
Yeah,
else
I
too.
Who wants to go first on the 10 through 1?
How are we going to do this?
How did we do it last week? I forget.
Let's
Two
do
at a
one
time?
No, we
We
did
went-
one at a time.
One at a
Okay,
time?
one at a time. Let's do one at a time then. We'll do it the same way.
Okay, Aaron.
Aaron, you go first. Number 10.
All right. Okay, these are our favorite receiving players, right? Like wide receivers and tight ends.
Yes.
Yes.
So I got the jersey on right here. Lance Allworth.
Wow.
Wow.
Throwback. I like it.
Mine's Charger stacked. That's usually always my favorite players are from my team, but I have a couple outliers that I like from other teams.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah, so I got Lance Allworth. His nickname was Bambi. He was just a great receiver, Hall of Fame. Really fun to watch. He was just like,
Yeah.
It was fun to watch him. So I like him a lot. That's my number 10.
He was on my honorable mentions actually, but I had to. He was one of my last cuts, so that's a great pick. What do you got, Glenn?
My number 10, Canadian guy, because he didn't have a long career, but I liked him with Seattle because my wife's a big Seattle Seahawks fan, so I watched all the games. And Luke Wilson was a tight end
I remember.
with Seattle.
Yeah.
He played about 5 seasons. Rookie
Yeah.
season, he won a Super Bowl. Good, solid player. Played about 5 years, and he's a analyst on Canadian the TSN, which is our equivalent to ESPN in Canada.
Oh,
He's an
okay.
analyst on there for the NFL. And man, he's so honest with his comments about when he played and about players and stuff. He's really refreshing to listen to. But anyway, Luke Wilson's my number 10.
Very good. My number 10, this is a rarity for me. I'm picking a Cowboy, and I hate the Cowboys. But when I grew up, I was a
You're off the
collector.
show. This is your last episode.
I was a collector of football cards, and this is a guy that I just idolized. The world's fastest human, Bob Hayes.
Mhm.
Wow.
Remember Bob Hayes?
Yes.
He could fly, man. And it was Staubach to Hayes, Craig Morton to Hayes. He was just a burner. Ran back kickoffs for a while until he became a full-time receiver. And although I hated the Cowboys, I liked watching Bob Hayes because he just burned people. So that's my number 10.
Cool. Well, guess what? I'm going back to the Chargers for my number 9. I'm going with Charlie Point. And he was the most consistent receiver they had back in the 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
And he played for a bunch of different teams. And Bill Walsh once said that he was the toughest receiver that played in football. He was just really, and the best route runner, just like the perfect receiver. Ran perfect routes, really tough. Wasn't real flashy, but he was just, and he's another Hall of Famer for good reason. All those Eric Coryell offenses, and he played for almost 20 years. So really consistent, great receiver.
He played with Houston too, to the Oilers, I think, didn't he?
Yeah. I think the Saints, Oilers, maybe the Cardinals. Played for a bunch of teams.
Wow.
But his mainstay was with the Chargers. That was.
That's where I remember him too.
Yeah, me too. He's actually one of my honorable mentions. I have him on my list, and then I got him crossed off. He this close.
After the Raiders got beat, you crossed him.
That's right. I crossed him off on Monday night after the game was over. Okay, number 9. I'm going with Tony Gonzalez.
Ooh,
pretty exciting ball player.
I have him on my list.
He might be one of the greatest receivers of all time, if not the greatest.
Yep.
Played for KC for many years. I think almost 10 years, and then Atlanta for the last 5 years of his career, I think.
Yeah, he was one of the best.
Now an analyst on Fox, I think.
Yeah.
Shows up there every once in a while. And just an exciting player. So
I like that pick. My number 9. I can't say this is a guy I really liked as far as his off the field activities, but I admired his ability on the field. And that's Randy Moss of the Vikings. Now, back in those days, I was a big fantasy football player, and I made it my priority to draft Randy Moss almost every year. He was always on my team. And the only non-Eagle jersey that I've ever purchased was a purple number 84, Randy Moss.
Wow.
So I really enjoyed his game. So that's why he made the list at number 9.
That's an honor for Randy that you bought his jersey.
Yeah, non-green. I went purple that year.
Wow.
Doesn't fit me anymore because I'm a whale now.
Wow.
But anyway. Another story. What do you got at 8, Aaron?
At number 8, I got the receiver for the Lions, Calvin Johnson, Megatron.
Oh, man. Yeah.
He was a beast. And he had the same affliction that Barry Sanders had, retiring a little early to get, but he was no one quite like him. He was just a monster on the field. Amazing player. Huge, great hands, great speed. He was prototypical of what you want for a wide receiver.
Yep, I agree. He was another guy I cut at the last minute for an active player, but I can't argue with it. He was a phenomenal player for sure.
I agree. That was number 8?
That was 8.
Oh, I got a battle for number 8. 2 Raiders. I'm going to go with Todd Christensen.
Another
tight end. Put a tight end in there.
Yeah.
Joined the Raiders in 1980. He refused to play the position when he first started in football, and he was cut by 2 or 3 teams before he ended up with the Raiders. I can't remember who he played for, but yeah, he didn't want to be a tight end. And then I guess he kind of figured it out that was the position. And he had 3,000 yard seasons.
Yeah, he was
and,
good.
Solid football player.
Excellent.
The first of many Raiders on my
Yeah.
list.
Well, I have two Eagles coming up later because I'm following Aaron's lead here. My number 8 is a guy that played last night for Seattle, DK Metcalf, active guy.
Oh yeah,
I think this guy is unbelievable. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's a lot like Calvin Johnson. I think he's big.
yeah.
He's tough. He's got leaping ability. He can do it all, and that's who he reminds me of more than anybody else. Is Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
And it's got
it's funny,
bloodlines. His father was a player and, all that stuff. So,
Yeah, he's a great player. Do you remember his big bonehead move in his rookie season?
I do not.
He was going in for the winning touchdown with Seattle, and he spiked the ball before he hit the end zone.
I did not know that.
Yeah, cost him the game.
He made up for it though later on by making one of the best rundown tackles in the history of the NFL. Though that was pretty on the interception.
He's a great player.
Yeah. I had to put
player.
him in. I originally had Calvin Johnson, and I'm watching the game last night, and I'm saying, how can I not have Metcalf on this list? I have to have an active guy. So I made my flip. But Calvin Johnson deserves to be on the list. He was a victim of circumstance. So
Yep.
we're down to number 7.
Number 7. I'm going to go with an Eagle that also played for a bunch of teams. And he's a very controversial figure. A lot of people hate him, but I always thought he was one of the best receivers.
Hold on, I bet you're picking. I hope you're picking Don Henley when you say you're picking an Eagle.
Yeah. Well, Glen Fry,
Oh.
Who do you
I'm going to
got?
go Terrell Owens.
Yeah,
love
you're
Terrell.
right. Controversial. Hate it. Yep.
Yeah. And he was just, every team he played on, he was just a beast. And, when he was in the 49ers, the Cowboys, the Eagles, it didn't matter. And I mean, he had a lot of locker room stuff, but on the field, and when he played for the Eagles in that Super Bowl, if they would have won that, he might have been MVP. He was, just coming off a broken leg, really tough guy, very underrated.
Yeah, he was unstoppable that year. He had a big year for the Eagles, but they had that locker room thing with him and Donovan McNabb, and there was a lot of infighting and stuff, jealousy, and it hurt the team. And eventually, they had to move him out. But that's a great one.
Yeah, on the field, he was just, he never really played bad for any team. He was always top-notch player and underrated just because of his off-the-field stuff, I thought. But
I agree.
A little weird of a guy.
He's a weird guy. I mean, if you ever watch him being interviewed and stuff, he's kind of out there, but he does it. He did the job on the field for sure. What do you got at 7, Glenn?
Another Raider tight end, Dave Casper.
Oh yeah, legend.
Might be the greatest tight end in the history of football, or close. Anyway, you could put him in the discussion. For sure.
I've got a guy I like a little better. I know Aaron does too. But
okay, well, what can I say?
We have different guys, but he's up there. He's one of the best for sure.
Yeah. And
Like
back in the days when the Raiders were good.
He played on that championship team in 70s.
He did. Yeah.
Well, I've got another guy from that era, Fred Balitnikov at number 7.
If we were in the same room, I'd kiss you right on the lips.
I just like, he was just as a little skinny guy, didn't look like much out there, but he always came up with the ball. I don't know whether it was to stick him or whatever it was they were using.
He was famous for the stick 'em.
He had great hands, and he was crafty. Let's put it that way. I enjoyed watching him play. So I had to put him on the list somewhere at number 7.
Awesome.
All right.
Number 6.
Number 6. This is a Hall of Fame receiver. Just really, he was one of the best receivers of the 70s and 80s. Steve Largent from the Seahawks. I loved Steve Largent.
Yeah.
He was
great player.
Very consistent and really tough. Caught a bunch of stuff over the middle. Could go deep.
Yep.
Great player. Played with all those early Seahawk teams that were pretty exciting. And I always really liked Steve Largent.
What's not to
I
like? He
love that
was
pick. Yeah,
phenomenal. Yeah.
that's awesome. He was right off my radar, but what a great
Yeah.
pick.
Yep.
I'm going with, because my wife, Peyton Manning, that's her guy. Our dog's named Peyton, by the way, after Peyton Manning. And so when Peyton was with the Colts, I had to watch all the games and everything. So I kind of fell in love with a lot of the players. Marvin Harrison.
Yeah. He was a good
Him
one
and
too.
Peyton were magic together.
What
I
a
looked it up.
duo.
He was him and Peyton joined up for 150 TDs together.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. He's from
Yeah.
my area. He's from South Jersey, which is right around the corner from me.
Oh,
Marvin
cool.
Harrison. Yeah. Number
Yeah.
6, I went with Mike Quick, an Eagle from days gone by. He didn't get a lot of recognition, but Jaworski to Quick and then Randall Cunningham to Quick, that was a deadly combo in the NFC back in those days. He didn't have a long career. Injuries, I think it was his knee that took him out. I think he played like 7 or 8 years, but he made the Pro Bowl like 5 times in those years. Really, really dynamic player, touchdown maker. And I like the name for a receiver, Mike Quick. So there you go.
Yeah, that's a pretty good name for a receiver. He was
Yep.
born to be a receiver, that guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's not my pick.
Now it's Aaron's number 5.
Number 5.
Yeah.
Number 5. One of the best tight ends of all time, and he undrafted player, basketball player is Antonio Gates. And I believe him and Rivers have the most touchdown to for a combo out of anyone. I'm not sure. It might have been Gronkowski and Brady might have passed it, but it was really close.
For
I know,
tight ends.
Rivers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
But
great
I think
one.
for any, no, for tight ends, you're right. But
Yeah, I
yeah, he
think-
was just,
Yeah.
and he had to fight every bit because he wasn't drafted. Chargers took a chance on him. He was, came in off the streets basically, and they made him into a Hall of Fame. He's going to be a Hall of Famer for sure.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yep.
That'll give them 2 Hall of Fame tight ends, Winslow and him.
Yep.
Amazing. What do you got at 5, Glenn?
Another Raider. Tim Brown.
Tim
Oh, yeah.
Brown. Yeah. Nice.
He's almost
Mr. Raider. Yeah. He had a pretty darn good career with the Raiders.
Now, is he in the Hall or
One of the best.
I know he should
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think
he's in.
Yeah, he should be if he's not.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah.
My
But,
number
yeah, that's it.
My number 5 is an Eagle. I went back-to-back Eagles. And this guy just got in the Hall of Fame, Harold Carmichael, after a long
Oh,
absence.
yeah.
6'8", like a giraffe out there in those days when cornerbacks were like 6'1", maybe. He just towered over people. They had that alley-oop pass, that fade down to a science. So I went with Harold Carmichael. 79 touchdowns, which at that time was pretty high. I mean, with the passing game the way it is now, people are blowing by him. But in his day, he was one of the better wide receivers out there. So I had to put him on my list.
Yeah, great player.
You almost have to take it in a different, the players back then were getting hit. It was a different game back then. So if they were playing out bigger numbers, ones playing now would have smaller numbers. So you kind of got to take that into consideration a little. Plus, there's only 14 games.
That's true too. Right.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, it is a good point. All right, number
So
4.
number 4, I'm going with a guy that had a short career for the Chargers. Then he went on and kind of faded out, but it was John Jefferson. And for the few years he was with the Chargers, he was just dynamic. Him and Fouts, it was a very dynamic combination. He was kind of ahead of his time, kind of one of the bigger receivers at the time. Then a lot of people kind of come up to and are like him now. And he was very dynamic, made amazing catches, deadly with Fouts.
He was good. I liked him. He was impressive.
And I
I always wondered what happened. Did he have an injury or he just lost his love of the
it was
game?
a contract dispute, and the Chargers went. The same year, I think it was John Jefferson. They had a contract dispute with, and there was a defensive player. What was his name? And he went to the 49ers and won a couple of Super Bowls. Can't remember his name. The defensive end. And if they would have kept both those guys, they would have been. Oh God, who was he? I can't think of him right now.
Vernon Dean?
No.
What was that guy?
No.
Yeah, I
I'll-
can't
I'll-
think either.
I don't remember. All right, number
Might have been
4.
Yeah.
Okay, on my list of greatest Raiders of all time. That's what this was about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cliff Branch.
Oh yeah, another one.
Another one.
Another
There's another one.
another
Yeah,
guy that
too many great players.
another guy that brings back bad memories that took the Eagles Super Bowl in '80. That's what I'm remembering there with Cliff Branch. Yeah, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good pick.
Yes, and I promise it's going to lighten up a little bit here on the Raiders.
My number 4 is a guy from the other side of the state of Pennsylvania, Hines Ward,
Oh
Pittsburgh
yeah,
Steelers.
Steelers.
This
Yeah.
guy was like a little tank. He went into the tight areas and he was like real well built. He wasn't that big in stature, but he got the job done. And I thought he was a tough
Mhm.
player. He was a good blocker for a wideout and very physical. And he made some tough catches in some big games for them. So I'm going to go with Hines Ward at number 4.
Love it.
Very tough receiver.
Very tough.
Yep.
All right, top 3.
Number 3, and this receiver, if he wouldn't have got injured, I think he might have been the best receiver of all time. It was Sterling Sharp from the Packers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
And
good
he was
pick.
just, I think he was way better than his brother Shannon, who ended up in the Hall of Fame. But Shannon was good too. But Sterling Sharp was,
Yeah.
he was amazing. But he only went like 4 or 5 years, I think. Then he got injured.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And he was just amazing. Brett Favre with him. He
Yeah,
really,
exciting player.
I think, boost him when he was young.
Mhm.
Great player. Love that pick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's an awesome pick. My number 3, Buffalo Bills from back in the day. We talked a lot about the Bills last week and those 4 Super Bowl appearances
Yes.
and never got a dinner. Andre Reed.
Good one.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
awesome. Awesome
He
player.
was awesome, fast and reliable, and yeah, him and Jim
Strong.
Kelly were pretty good together. Strong.
all.
Yep. Yeah, he's my number 3.
I like that. My number 3 is the guy Glenn had earlier, Tony Gonzalez, tight end. I just think he's a phenomenal player. And the only reason I'm saying he's the best tight end of all time is because Keller Winslow didn't play as long. When Keller Winslow played, he was absolutely dominant. But Tony Gonzalez played for 17, 18 years
Yeah. Hmm.
with 2 different franchises. And I think he made like 12 Pro Bowls. He was just incredible.
Yeah.
A real weapon downfield for a tight end. For a big guy, he could move. Once he got behind the defense, he was gone. I just enjoyed watching him, and he carried people with him when he was in traffic. So solid player, Tony Gonzalez, number 3.
Excellent pick. Yeah, love that guy.
Qualified for my list, but he was really good.
Yeah. And we understand why he was disqualified.
So my number 2 is the player that took John Jefferson's place. So they traded John Jefferson, and they picked up Wes Chandler, who's my number 2, and he was fast, super fast. He kind of reminded me of the Miami Dolphins receivers, a little like Clayton and Duper type.
Yeah.
But he was more dynamic than them, and he was my favorite receiver when I was a kid. I loved Wes Chandler, and he played for the Saints before the Chargers.
Yes.
Had a good career with them too, and he made phenomenal acrobatic catches.
He was a small guy too. Wasn't he a little guy?
Yep.
Yeah, he
pretty
was real
small.
good.
Acrobatic catches, was real speedy, and
Yes.
he was kind of pretty tough too.
Oh yeah.
And he was a big reason that Eric Coryell was so good. I loved Wes Chandler.
That's a great one.
My number 2, Arizona Cardinals, Larry Fitzgerald.
There you go. Love it.
Just a exciting, just a great player. I don't know what else to say.
Well, I'll say it for you. My number 2 is Larry Fitzgerald.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
What
great
a-
minds think alike.
What a talent. I mean,
Yeah.
I could have easily had him number 1 because I would say
Yeah.
I like him probably even better than my number 1, but he doesn't have the accolades and the numbers that the number 1 does. So I like Larry Fitzgerald. Clutch, acrobatic, just athletic, whatever you want to put on him. He can do it all. And longevity again. He's played a long time and
Yeah.
pretty effective in all those years. And for a bad team, for the most part, he was the
Yes.
best player on that team for forever.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I'm going to give him my number 2.
Cool.
Great pick. And he played really good in the Super Bowl they were in too.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Mhm.
You almost won it for him there at the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, the big
So,
enchilada, number 1.
Now, this is going to be a huge surprise.
I think I know where you're going on this.
Yeah. But my favorite player of all time of any position is Keller Winslow. He was my favorite player as a kid, always has been my favorite player. And I mean, he'd score like 5 touchdowns in a game,
Yeah.
blocked punts or he blocked a field goal. He was
Yeah.
that one game against Miami, he was a beast. When he blocked the field goal at the end to win, he had to carry him off the field.
I remember that. Yep. That's right.
That was my favorite game I've ever seen. I was going crazy on that game.
That's awesome.
That's a great pick. Like I said, if it wasn't for Tony Gonzalez and the long career, I would have picked Keller Winslow. Keller Winslow was an unbelievable tight end. I mean, you couldn't stop him. Let's face it.
Yeah.
He was that good. He was better
All the
than
tight
everybody.
ends copy what he did. He kind of brought
Yeah.
the big receiving number
Yeah.
thing to so
And an ability to go downfield too. He wasn't just one of those look-in patterns or little 10-yard. He could move, man. He could fly for a big guy.
I think he had 6 touchdowns in one game one time.
Wow.
He was an
That's pretty
amazing
cool.
player. Yeah.
I think one of them there was like 5 receiving and a rushing maybe or something.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, I wasn't going to do this, but since Aaron went with a Charger, I got to go with a Raider as my number 1. Rich already gave him some love. Fred Balitnikov.
Hey, there you go.
He just came from that Raiders team that those years that I love with Stabler and those guys. That was just I just worshiped that team, and he was great. He actually, at the end of his career, he came up to Canada and played for the Montreal Alouettes for a year or two, and he was getting old and beaten up by then, but he still gave it the best, and he still had the stickum on his hands. I think that guy shook hands with you. He just dragged you back home with him. You'd never be able to let go.
Yeah.
He's he had a bit of a sticky hand, but amazing receiver. Like you said, it wasn't. If you looked at him, you'd probably wonder what the hell he's doing even on the field. But
I know. He looked like he could be just a guy handing somebody a towel or a Gatorade on the side. He didn't have much to him, but
didn't I buy a program from you on the way in?
Yeah.
So Fred Blitnikoff, my number 1.
Yeah, my
Great
number
pick.
1.
Dear to my heart.
I just went with the guy I considered the best, and that's Jerry Rice. I had to take Jerry Rice. In my time of watching football, he's the best wideout I've ever seen, and he's likable at the same time too. He never came off as a showboaty to me, or cocky, or arrogant. I thought he was a solid citizen, great player, and his record speak for themselves. He's head and shoulders above pretty much everybody in every category. So
And in a time to play the position too.
Right. So he was ahead of his time. I mean, he would have been great in any era, I think. And from a small college, another guy that was overlooked in the draft, I think. 49ers found a good one there. So I went with Jerry. And he had 2 great quarterbacks thrown to him too. Let's face it, the Montana and Young. But he took advantage of it.
He did. Yeah. You can't argue with that. He was the greatest of all time.
But I like Larry Fitzgerald too. I mean, I wanted to put him 1, but I couldn't justify it, so I had to go 1, 2.
Yeah. Awesome. Wow. Good list, guys.
He was the greatest. I just went with my favorites.
Yeah. I know. I cheated a little bit.
That's all right.
Yeah. I got 2 Eagles in there, and I couldn't keep up with your Chargers and Glen's Raiders, but
The Chargers had a lot of receivers though.
they did. They were heavy on the receivers and tight ends. Two big ones. All right, cool. So what about our predictions last week? Glenn, did you tally up the?
Oh man! So last week, you have no idea what went on here.
Yeah,
This
look
is
at
just
that.
one of the pages, and there's the other page.
Holy
Like this
cow.
was like, if this was hard because there was 3 people involved. So when
Yes.
you know if Rich won, then I got to go. Okay, so you owe Aaron and Glenn won. Then it's just it went on and on. I couldn't figure it out. So then I finally just went and I put Glenn owes, Aaron owes, and Rich owes, and then I figured it out from there.
Yeah.
So, how did the games go? We should figure that out first. So Panthers and Cowboys. Cowboys won 36-28 over the Panthers. I picked the Panthers, so I lost that one. Seahawks 28, 49ers 21. I picked the 49ers, of course, because they lost. And Browns at Vikings. Rich got the Browns beat the Vikings 14-7. Rich lost that one. You picked the Vikings. Raiders at Chargers. Aaron got that one. Cardinals at Rams. Rich picked that one. It was 37-20. And Aaron got Ravens over the Broncos.
Right.
So it all worked out too. You owed me $20 going into last week. So when I
Right.
factored that in, so here it goes. So at the end of the day, I owe Aaron $80. I owe Rich $20. And Rich owes Aaron $40.
Woo!
So Aaron, you're up $120
Wow,
between
man.
us right now.
I'm just
Take it
taking
easy.
2.
Take
Yeah.
it easy.
Maybe
on
we
us.
should go running total of wins.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, somebody wants to do that. Be my guest. I'm like overwhelmed. Yeah.
So we have
anyway,
6 games to pick this week, right? We have
we do.
6 more to go, and we'll see how that works out.
Yeah.
Now, who went
Who
first
wants-
last week?
Aaron went first
I
last
did.
week.
All right, so Glenn,
So
you go
I'm
first.
down. I'm down most of the money. So let me go first.
Yeah.
Okay. So the games are 49ers at Cardinals. The Cardinals are 5.5-point favorites. Bills at Chiefs. The Chiefs are 2.5-point favorites. Broncos at Steelers. The Steelers are 1-point favorites. Bears at Raiders. The Raiders are 5.5-point favorites. Browns at Chargers. The Chargers are 2.5-point favorites. Packers versus Bengals. The Packers are 3-point favorites. I think these are all hard with the point spreads.
I do too.
So I am going to go. I'm going to take my Raiders at 5-5.
Glenn with the Raiders. All right, Aaron, you can go second.
I'll go last if you want, since I won both
All right.
nights last.
All right, I will take. These are hard. You know what? I kind of like Buffalo getting 2.5 points against the Chiefs. So I'm going to take the
Taking
Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
I know that could be risky, but I'm going to take them.
All right.
I was going to do that too.
Were you? Well, you're
I'll
a
take
Chief
the-
hater.
I'll take the Chargers over the Browns.
That's solid.
Chargers
I'm
over
worried
the
about-
Browns.
I'm really worried about that game. I just
Are
have a
you?
feeling.
That's a good pick. I like that pick. I almost went with that, but I wanted to save you the Chargers. All right.
Just because of the way football goes,
Yeah.
Cardinals are undefeated. How long can that go on? I'm going to take the 49ers.
Wow.
They
What a
got-
bold
they got-
pick.
Well, they got 5.5 points, so
Yeah,
they
you're
should
right.
at least beat the spread, I hope.
All right, so that leaves me with either Denver at Pittsburgh or Green Bay at Cincinnati. Well, I'm not a believer in Denver or Pittsburgh, so I'm going to leave that game for Aaron. I'm going to take the I'm going to take the Packers. Why not? I'll take the Packers and lay the 3 at
It's
Cincy.
kind of a harder game to think to pick, isn't it?
It's a very hard pick for me.
Mhm.
That's
So
right
you're
on the
left with
number.
Broncos. Yeah, Broncos and Steelers is the only one left.
You got to pick a
And it's in
side.
Pittsburgh. It's in Pittsburgh. I'll take the Steelers.
It's at Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
yes.
-1. Okay.
All right. Aaron has
All
the
right.
Steelers. So
And I'll
Aaron's
try
got,
and
just to recap, Aaron's got Pittsburgh and the Chargers. Glenn has the Raiders and Frisco, and I have the Buffalo Bills and the Green Bay Packers.
that's it. And I'll try and figure out a way just to keep track of score, like who predicts the most games. Right.
Yeah,
You
I'll go
just,
back.
fill it out,
I'll do
like,
an audit.
give everyone 1 point every time, kind of thing.
Yeah.
yeah, that kind of thing. That's good.
Yeah. Oh, you don't want the money?
Yeah, it's play money anyway.
I'd rather
I'm
take
glad you
records.
said it's. I'm glad you guys said it's play money after I'm down 120 bucks.
Yeah. Anyway, anything else to add before we sign off? Anything going on?
Hockey season starts this week.
Yeah,
Aaron
Wednesday.
probably
I
not
thought
a
I just
hockey.
said,
Wednesday, first game.
all right.
Leafs and
I thought-
Montreal Canadiens.
For some reason, I thought it just got over. I don't know why.
Well, they did play late into the summer. They played late last year because
Yeah, because of COVID and everything.
COVID.
So
But
yeah, and they're starting like a week later this year too. Plus the Olympics are going to be taking a break for the Olympics in February, 2-week break. So
yeah,
And the basketball starting. I love basketball. So.
yeah,
basketball starting. Raptors and Philly were on last night, the preseason game. I'm kind of interested in my Raptors this year. You're a basketball guy, right?
Oh yeah, I'm a Blazer fan.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk a bit of basketball. I don't. You could probably teach me a few things.
It can teach me a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so we're
Awesome.
gonna sign off till next week for Glenn Kellaway from the basement. Aaron Mutha Alamere, Rich Strickler here. Tune into Sports Beat. Give us a like, subscribe, and of course, leave us some comments. Give us your favorite receivers of all time. We'd like to hear back some alternative picks, so to speak. So for some non-Charger, non-Eagle, and non-Raider players, by the way. Till next time, we'll see you later. Take care. Bye.
Take care. Bye. Thanks, guys.